Hello, everyone. My name is Andreas Diaz. Me and Will are back again for another spectacular Marvel Plus talk on episode 4, Moon Knight, titled The Tomb. How poetic is this called, The Tomb? But anyway, so today we're going to discuss, the insane WTF, of course, a hippo talking. We're in the same silent. We had like an Indiana Jones slash the Descent kind of horror band episode. So Will, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I was very excited to talk about this latest episode of Moon Knight. I think this is my personal favorite of the series so far. It was very action alternated, but then also developing so far the plot points and storylines that we were developing throughout the series, which I was very happy about. And then we got like kind of like our Legion, kind of what the heck was going on towards the end of the episode. So it was overall my favorite episode. What's your opinion on this episode?
Yeah, no. Same. I liked all of the like trippy things that were going on in the ending of this episode. And I
Yeah,
liked the continuation of that like adventure movie-esque like you know uh delve deeper into the tomb where they found Alexander the Great. And I liked the like undead people that they were like running from.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was just a really fun. Like it reminded me of like an Indiana Jones or the Mummy, like
Oh my god.
movies like that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, speaking of those dead creatures, I mean, what was it? I think it was last week you were talking about how tame this series is in terms of the violence.
yes.
Um, do you still think so after this episode?
I mean, this was certainly a step up from last week, but I think they could do
More.
more. Like I don't think they're going to because it's
Hmm.
still a Disney Plus original.
Yeah,
But
right.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that disembowelment scene
Oh my god.
was pretty gross.
I mean, and then definitely set the mood for me for this episode. Like, especially those, I mean, undead like creatures that were making
Mm-hmm.
that noise, like click click
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. That like I don't know if you've seen this movie, World War C.
No.
Like those zombies had like this tree, like bird kind of chippy sound. This reminded me of that, and I was like
Mm.
much more freak out in this than World War C, starring Brad Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so okay, so there was a lot going on this episode. First off, I think Leia was great in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
We like immediately pick up what we were at last episode, episode 3 at the desert. It was a cool action scene. I love how she stopped those like mercenaries basically from I guess from highway, right?
Mm-hmm.
His group, and so that was a cool action scene. I really liked that. And of course they arrive at the was it the camp that we were at, where they were digging up the tomb of Amit, which I guess the big reveal here is that it wasn't him, Amit, or it was like I you were mentioning the was it
Alexander the Great.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Well, I think they said that Alexander the Great had been serving as Amit's avatar.
oh, okay. Okay, because I was a little confused about that part. I was like, oh, okay. I thought it was like a twist to like, oh, this is like something we like. It was like a big reveal that this was like another god, and it wasn't, Amit. But okay,
No,
okay, that makes sense.
no. And
Because
then he reached into Alexander's like mouth and he
you got
found
the
Amit's like statue that is like holding him prisoner.
Yes. I guess was this before the episode start or after the Marvel Studios logo? Like we see the one of the avatars taking a Khonshu statue, and like we see the multiple statues of like these gods we don't know yet. Um, I'm I, I'm kind of curious. Are we going to see the other gods if Mark opens Khonshu again later in the series? But we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be very cool. So okay, because that was the part I was like I was kind of didn't understand. Like, okay, Alexander the Great, that's kind of cool. That's a very cool revised history. That's like kind of neat.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
mean, like, yeah, no one knows where his tomb is, so
yeah. I mean, none of us still
yeah.
don't know the tomb. Um, yeah. Speaking of that, that scene alone was so funny. I love the what is it the line that Miss Steven was saying, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mister Great." Did you laugh at that? He was like,
Hmm.
"I'm so sorry," and then he was like saying he's like, "Ooh, ah."
Hmm.
Oh my god, oh my god, Steven is so funny this episode. I just love it. I had a chance to rewatch the episode a little bit, the beginning,
Hmm.
and the one part I didn't catch was he say hello to the goats or the llamas that were like at the camp.
Hmm.
That was very funny. And then I think I remember this in the first time I watched it, but then the second time I was like, oh, Mark punched Steven after Leia kissed her because Steven told Leia about what why Mark was staying away from her, and
Hmm.
and of course after she jumps into the caves of the tombs, he was almost there, and then of course he gets he punched himself, or Mark punched himself at Steve because of the stupidness he was doing,
Hmm.
which was so funny. Oh my god, Steven is great. I just love him as this character. Uh, but yeah, so I will say I'm very enjoying the chemistry between Leia and Steven, and I really like how she's starting to like Steven, and like we get the moments where she's smiling and like she's seeing this very different personality from this body she used to be with, and it's just all touching. And like I'm kind of curious if Steven is going to be the controller of this body whenever we ever if they ever like settle down with their
Hmm.
relationship. But I hope they stay together, Steven and Leia. I think they're really good as a couple, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, so they're looking around in the tombs, and then we get to the scene of the dead creatures. What was this the guy we met in episode 2, Bill or Bobby? Was he that guy that was
Yeah.
like getting okay? So so he dies because this dead pharaoh or guard was cutting him up, and we see one like was it textile kind of body part going into the jar.
Hmm.
And this whole thing was incredible, one of the best scary action scenes. And of course Steven's reaction to it was funny at the same
Hmm.
time. um I rewatched the scene and I didn't realize you do see the creature like jumping like behind the other side of the cave when Leia was trying to climb like to the side
Hmm.
of
Yeah.
the I didn't see that, and that was
Hmm.
like very creepy.
Yeah.
But she did the horror trope, like when you see a hand, you immediately run away. Like why just stand there for 2 minutes and get like scared very quickly? I don't understand that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, typical horror thing. Um, and this reminds me of another movie that I just brought up earlier, The Descent. I don't know if you've seen that movie, The Descent. Um, it's like this a bunch of female characters like are they're having this girls hangout week, whatever, and like they go like I guess rock climbing or something like that, and they
Hmm.
get stuck in a cave, and then of course typical. There's something very unusual in the caves, and there's a bunch of monsters. Like it's like that,
Okay.
basically. Yeah, great film. Is actually it's a good film.
Yeah.
You should check it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's like that, like Leia versus a monster in a cave, and this whole scene was great. I mean, it was like, I mean, the face of the monster. Like, do you see enough of his face, like on the monster? Like, it looked pretty horrific. I guess, or
Yeah, I kept wanting to get like a better view
yeah,
of it, but they would cut away from it so quickly.
yeah. It reminded me of a troll from one of the Lord of the Rings. Like you,
Oh,
like you know what I'm talking about?
yeah,
Like
an orc.
yeah, like an orc. Thank you. Like it reminded me of an orc, but like the more creepy orcs that we've seen in the original trilogy. Not the Hobbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminded me of that. Those kind of like orc designs, which is creepy. Um, and of course, Leia like drop, the creature down. And how did she survive that? Like that was very like typical comic book thing. Like you jump high here, and then like she just like miraculously, hold it like a cliff. Like
Hmm.
like that? What?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
did feel unrealistic, but it is also like another like adventure movie trope.
Mm, true. Yeah, it's definitely something you see in the Brandon Fraser's Mummy or Indiana
Yeah,
Jones. Like you think the hero died, but no, he's like halfway.
yeah, he's like holding on to the edge of the cliff. And yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, which is yeah, you're right. It's very typical like Avengers, like serial tropes. And this is where we get the most important conversation that I was really happy we got was Arthur talking to Layla and like talking to her more about what really happened to her father. And I wasn't expecting that in this episode. Like I thought we are gonna play that out a little bit in the series.
Hmm.
Um, I'm actually happy we got like more confirmation in this episode, and I kind of happy we didn't go to the soap opera kind of trope of this. Like we dealt with it very maturely in this episode, um, which is
Yeah,
good. But
I would
I'm
have.
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
So I would have preferred if she had like waited to fully confront Mark about that until after they got out of the tomb.
Oh, that's
You know,
yeah,
like they're cornered. Like I get like she's mad. She should definitely like say something in that moment. But then to just like be like, no, now while we're cornered and there are people coming after us, now is the time to have this conversation. I
yeah, yeah.
don't know.
That's true. It's typical drama. I trope that we do. I think like if we didn't set it up earlier, I could have a problem with that. Like we didn't like we just all of a sudden brought all this in this episode. I could have a problem because we set it up last episode, right?
Mhm.
Episode 3. It's a good payoff of
Yeah,
it.
I mean, like,
But I agree. But it
yeah,
is kind
my
of
my
weird.
problem isn't that she like said something. It's that she like said something and then decided to like have the full argument right there
Yeah.
instead
Uh.
of later. Um,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Uh. Yeah. I don't know. I can't defend it. I mean, it's like I don't know how you can read it. I guess. I mean, the thing is, I mean, I guess it's kind of interesting that she did it because she knows, like, okay, Steven doesn't know this. Like, she was aiming at Mark. I mean, I guess, but I don't know. It was very kind of. very stupid of Leia to do that.
Yeah, and like I get that she like had like an emotional reveal like moments earlier,
Yeah,
but I just like in the rest of the show, she doesn't come off as someone who would like forget about the like major stakes that are going on like in the meantime to
yeah,
have like a conversation like that. So it just
yeah,
kind of bugged me.
yeah. Well, it's interesting because we I think that's like the writing. I think sometimes when we have those kind of characters that are like top form or like they're like very like on the mission like Leia is, and when we want to do a you know a drama or something, it sometimes comes like a cheat. And it's like okay, like they don't know where to place it, and it
Mm,
seems like they couldn't place it in any moment. Like if like okay, if before they enter the cave, I think it would be more appropriate that they have that conversation in the desert. But then it's like, well,
but she
how
hadn't had the reveal yet.
exactly? So like
Yeah.
how like and how like I know Arthur has magical abilities. Like he has the stick. He has
Hmm.
that's but like why he wants to go out there and tell Leia like like I guess like there's like a couple questions I have here. Like I get Arthur is the main villain, like he's the main villain we have in the series,
Hmm.
but like I don't know, like do you want him to be more like very manipulate person? Why could he just transport himself and like secretly talk to Layla and like okay, you didn't know this part, and then that's where we can get the very organic way of having that scene. I don't know, like I just feel like the placement was just they couldn't know where to place it in this episode.
Yeah.
So and then I do have this question, and I want to ask you this: does Leia knew that Mark was a mercenary? Like I
Uh,
because
I feel like she must.
right because like I don't know like I if you were to slice it, you should know he's a mystery and you should not trust him. And like
Well,
we don't.
they were
I mean,
married. Like
yeah,
I don't.
I
I
I
think it
just
makes sense that she would trust Mark. I don't know.
yeah I don't know. I wonder where we're gonna go with the are we getting the origin for Moon Knight for next episode when we
We
get
might get it in a flashback.
yeah. Or we're just not gonna get it in the series
I
and
feel
just
like they're like referring back to it too much for them to not show it.
yeah I don't know. It's very like especially now with the last third act of this episode. I'm like I don't know what's going on. I'm like it can go anywhere they want to, and I'm gonna go with it. But
Hmm.
yeah, um, I think I have some ideas what's going on, but we'll see. But anyway, I just find it kind of like if Leia knows that he was a mercenary, she should never trust him. It's like she knew her father could be in trouble and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But well, we'll see. I do hope if they're like saving that for like a potential second series, I hope we get that or a
Hmm.
movie maybe, but we'll see. Um, because I think there's potential to have a Moon Knight series like Loki continuing the story.
Yeah, I hope they do that. I guess it really depends on what Oscar Isaac wants to do
Yeah,
because I think everyone else that's involved would be game.
yeah. I'll be game. And I want
Yeah.
my Moommobile and my
Your
moon.
moon copter.
Yes, my new moon copter and my moon wing. That's like a plane, but whatever. Moon wing or moon plane. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. So um, so in the meantime, of course, we've been referencing this before. Steven found, the Alexandra the Great tomb.
Hmm.
And of course, we get like very cool conversation between him and Mark, which is still great in this episode. I really love the banter between those two characters.
Hmm.
uh and I like how Mark likes that. I mean, he begrudgingly liked that Steven did tell her the truth, despite he was trying to protect her. You
Hmm.
know, so that's good. Um, I have a theory that did Steven didn't give the how I say it the Amit
Hmm.
statue to Arthur. No, he took it with him down the water. So like
Yeah,
when
well, we don't know.
oh,
Like, my guess is that his body is just still in that room, that
okay,
chamber.
okay,
So the statue would be there.
hmm, okay. If we want to do theories, later on, I have a
Hmm.
theory that when he got shot twice, he maybe accidentally broke the statue, and then Ahmed
And the
took over his
open.
body,
Ooh, okay.
right?
Yeah, I could see that.
Because we have I know this is not Ahmed, but like the hippo thing,
Hmm.
just maybe Ahmed is something that is not true, like it's a fake, and that this was actually this particular god um that we saw from this last episode. It was called this hippo. What was this hippo's name? Oh my god. Towers, Tawerwt. Uh, and
Um, yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce
yeah,
it.
yeah. It was referenced a couple times in the series. It's that
Hmm.
the hippo god that it's well known. I think it's that, and like it wasn't Ammon. Ammon is pretty much destroyed by the gods, or he's actually placed in the statues next to Khonshu, right?
Hmm.
Because we can do like, I mean, every adventure serials, you think you found the thing in the location you were at, but sometimes it's not. Like you mentioned the mummy, right?
Hmm.
Like they found the mummy tomb, but the way to bring that creature back was to read something in the book. And so, and like I feel like that Ahmed is not there. Ahmed is in the secret place where the gods meets, and that's where he's probably at. So, but we'll see. Um, because because we got hints of Jack again, and they're really leading into that, especially with that second tomb that was in the psych hospital.
Hmm.
Um, so anyway, I think that's where we're gonna head out. So Steven got it, and then Leia come into the tomb, and of course she confronts Mark about the thing. Did Mark say that okay he was there, but he was trying, like he was dying while her father was in trouble, right? Like
Yeah, he went there as a mercenary, but then whoever had ordered the hit on the archaeologists also wanted to kill Mark as well,
yeah,
and
so
did presumably, and that's when he became Moon Knight. But
yeah, um, so if we're ever going to see that, right? If if that's possible, um this is from the comics, of course. As we brought up multiple times, that Leia is combined of two comic characters. There's a villain that's well known that maybe we'll see if they do a flashback on this particular, origin, which is could be unlikely, I will say. But we'll see. Okay, so that makes sense because I, I, I guess it, it's just like a drama story point they're just doing, and we're not going to see it, and so we'll see if they will go and show us the origin of how Moon Knight became Moon Knight, because I cannot see it happening now. Because if we're going to introduce Jack next episode, if we've been teasing that for so many this episodes, I don't see them doing the flashback, honestly. So But that's just my thing. So obviously, a bunch of the army, and then Arthur came, and then he's trying to plead Mark and Stephen, of course, to give him the statue. Of course, he didn't. He wham bam, be a badass and trying to stop this, and then of course Arthur shoot him twice. And by the way, I can't believe we saw like shots that were blood. Like, I mean, because you mentioned tame, that like was never tame. It was like very like Batman Returns, Catwoman, bullets seeing blood
Mm-hmm.
to the chest. And then we get this holy trippy. This is the part people has been talking about, the whole trippiness of the last like 40 or 10 minutes of this episode. So
Mm-hmm.
we see him dying. He goes into this like obviously going down to a river or a void of water, and
Mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden we were in a psych hospital, and then I can't believe we did it, and we did it in a way where it was very like Legion. Um, and I just love the Easter eggs we saw. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just love like we saw the woman that I didn't like, Dan.
The manager, yeah.
Yeah, the manager, and like she's holding the blue was it the blue beetle, like
The
the
scarab,
the
yeah.
scarab toy from the museum. And and we saw the guy who was like the statue, like those
Mm-hmm.
people that were
Yeah.
standing to be statue.
Crawley. Yeah.
Carly, we saw him being the bingo announcer,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. And then we see a couple of people. Like I think we saw the Bob person that died before we went to the psych hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's I think he's what Mark or Steven or I'm sorry, Mark's like personal guard, I guess. What we call those caregivers, right? In
Yeah.
those psych hospitals. Or, I mean, I personally have not have. I don't know what's the roles of those people. Anyway, so and Mark was trying to get up, but unfortunately, he is like sedated. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, we got a very cool nod of like the first episodes of Steven putting tying up his leg to like the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And here is different, of course. It's like he's been tied to the chair, and we got him having a toy of a Moon Knight uh, uh, toy, which is kind of neat. And then we have Leia. And then I don't know if you noticed this. This is another cool way. I think they're leaning into Leia to become a superhero. I don't know if you've been hearing
I've
this.
yeah, I have been seeing some stuff about that.
So okay, so we can get into that. Like that's a cool reference to this other comic book character called the Scarlet Scarab.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been actually laying this actually quite a bit. Like the we have mentions of like how the father called Leia the little scarab.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another hint, like a hint of this kind of potential role that Leia could be in the future. And then in this episode, we have another hinting at again by one of her band-aids have the red scarab. That's how the character looked like. It has the main color that the character has is red. So
Mm-hmm.
that's another hint of the Scarlet.
And her last name is similar to the name of the guy who is the Scarlet Scarab in the comics.
Yes, that's correct. I knew that was something else that was brought up. Yeah, thank you, Will. That is also correct as well. I forgot the name of that character. Uh,
It's
was
Raoul Faoul, or no, Abdul Faoul.
yes,
I knew
yeah,
it sounded similar to
yeah,
Faoul.
yeah, exactly. Thank you. I was like, it was a weird last name. I was like, I was not gonna happen. I
It's
was
an
not gonna
Egyptian,
Egyptian name. Yeah,
very standard. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So very interesting to do. I'd be very fine to have Leia to become a superhero down the road. So that's good.
Yeah.
Um, uh, she would be a Robin for Moon Knight, actually. Um, like that'd be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Moon Knight and the Scarlet Scarab. That'd be a good sequel to
Be
title.
good. Yeah.
Yep, yep. So after that, and we got a little nod to the cupcakes that was from the first episode. The cupcake truck that Steven was drove in one of those like unknown towns he was at in episode one. So that was cool. Um, all right. So then we get into like him. Oh, we also got he was watching TV. He was watching the Tomb of was it Buster or Rusting?
I
What
think
was
Tomb Busters.
Tomb Busters? That that's a good name. Where we get a fictional character, Steve Grant, who is this like Indiana Jones slash Laura Croft kind of type of character. That was kind of cool. I want to bring up this. So recent in the recent run of Moon Knight, there was a multiple story arc that was going on. Like one of the personalities was was in the psych hospital, and then there was the other storyline where this, like I think Steven was in a TV show, and I thinking that maybe what we're watching is just a television production. Like all of this is not real, and it's just like I think Mark is in a psych hospital, and that Steven is not real. It's just a movie like production that he's like made up in his mind. Like I think they're going in that direction, and so this is I think is in the recent 2016 run of Moon Knight, and so um and I think because of Jake coming in, I think that'd be kind of cool to see if maybe Jake is the real Mark Spector, and like I don't know where we're going at. So I think this whole series overall is a TV production in disguise right now to mess up our minds. So what do you think, Will? You think that will be true?
No, I don't think.
Okay. Oh my god, that'd be. I want it to be because that would be the most like what WTF ever in a superhero show or superhero property.
Yeah. I mean, this whole thing is reminding me of. Have you watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Ooh, the TV show or the movie? I
The TV show.
oh the no. I haven't seen the TV show. Why? There's an episode that's kind of like this.
There's an episode that I think it's like pretty well regarded, where they like framed the episode as though she's been in a like psychiatric hospital the entire time, and this is like in season 4 or 5.
Okay.
So then they have a bunch of like actors who play characters throughout the show, like showing up as like other patients or the doctors is very similar.
Okay.
And you like start to question like if the entire show has been just like in someone's head or if it's real, and you're trying to like figure out what's going on. And then at the very end, they revealed that like a demon had been like messing with her
In her
memory.
mind.
Yeah, but
Okay. Okay. No, I think I heard of that episode, and I seen like a couple episodes that have done that. Like, Batman the animated series has done that, where like this episode was Perchance to Dream, where Mad Hatter tricked Batman into this like alternate reality where he wasn't Batman. Like I mean, Mad Hatter doesn't know he's Bruce Wayne, so like in his mind he didn't become Batman because his parents didn't die and all that. You know, it's kind of like that, right? And like because in his like this alternate reality that Batman's having. There's a Batman there where he's not Batman. So it kind of hints at, okay, this is not real, you know? So yeah, okay, that makes sense. I don't know, like, do you trust your show to like just go straight forward, or like just to mess us up? Like, I don't know, like I don't trust them at
But
this
you
moment.
think they're gonna?
I mean, yeah, I mean, because like I like there's just questions that like, are we going to see like an origin story of Moon Knight? Are we going to see, ever we were like, is Arthur going to exceed his plan to release Amit?
Hmm.
And then we have the thing of Khonshu. Like, Mark hasn't gotten Khonshu out of the statue from last episode, right?
Hmm.
So I'm like just thinking, what's the end game for this show in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah.
So yeah.
What I think is going to happen is the first half of the next episode is going to be them getting out of whatever like fake prison the like mental asylum is,
Mm,
and then the next part of that is going to be Arthur freeing Amit while Mark is trying to get Khonshu back, and then at the very end of the episode, Mark will get or Amit will be free,
mhm.
but Khonshu will also be free,
Free, and
and
then
Mark will get the suit back, and that'll be the end of the episode. And then the sixth episode is Moon Knight versus Amit.
my God, oh, that'd be funny to see if they gonna do that, because, like, I mean, I um, I guess that could work. I think that's what they're gonna do, right? Because they kind of did this episode. Like, we had like a first half of a Indiana Jones thing, and then the second half of the last part of this episode is a trippy, just like off storyline. It was like a B plot, and like we're not at the A plot anymore, right? So that could happen next episode. Okay, that makes sense. Um, that'd be. Do you think they will pull that off in 52 minutes? Like, what do you think? Well, 52
Yeah,
minutes.
I think they
Okay,
could.
okay. Um, I thought I thought Ahmed took you and became a avatar. I was like a little worried. Did the ghosts or the demon gods got you? Okay, all right. Well, then that could happen, but we'll see. Or I'll say that I I'm curious where we're gonna where when we get to like the final moments, we do see a second tomb, because Mark opened the first tomb that contained Stephen, and he or Stephen or Mark's, I don't know who saw the second tomb that was in the other room that was like shaking. Like, it's obviously it's Jake, the third personality of Moon Knight, right? Like,
Mhm.
where is Jake falls into this? Like, is he going to be in the? Because I noticed there's one article that they brought up. He's probably going to get another new suit. So where are we going to fit that in this final two episodes? Anyway, so we'll discuss that. So let's get back to, okay. So he's taken to the this other alternate author person that we see. He's like his psychology or doctor, psychology person, or whatever you want to call it.
Psychiatrist. Yeah.
Psychiatrist. Thank you. I was like, I forgot. My mom has a PhD. She's a psychologist now, or so. Oh my god, I can't talk anymore with this
But
multiple hospitals. So, anyway, so we get like this very fun moment of Ethan Hawke just hamming it in as a villain. Like, he's saying this, like, oh, he enjoys this movie, that the Tomb Busters, right?
mhm.
And I love the dialogue he gives. and like he's very sincere, which is good. And and then this is where Mark is starting to get out of the sedated drug he's um, in this like astral projection, and so he attacks the two people that came in the door of the room, and it was funny to see him fighting those two guards. Especially he was fighting one of the other character that we saw, Bill, right?
Hmm.
That was funny. He's like, I like how you say you guys are okay, and then the guards replied to, yeah, we're fine, and like they just got up and then they chase him. Like, really? Like, I'm surprised they got up and then they just chase after Mark, and so we get this final moments of Mark running to the mental hospital, and then it starts doing the Inception roll tilting. Like you see the lights lamps tilting to the right side. That was cool. And then and of course, this is where he frees Steven. And then in this tomb, or what is it called? The sarcophagus. That's what you call it.
Yeah, sarcophagus.
Yes. So Steven was in that, and then we see a second one, and this is where I'm bringing up Jake. This is
Hmm.
probably Jake in that second sarcophagus. They don't
Yeah.
open it. They don't open that. So I wonder if that hippo we saw. Yes, that's right. A hippo will tell
Hmm.
them to open that third one, and that's Jake. And and then we get the most funniest scene ever. Is seeing I mean Isaac Isaac has been great this whole series, and this is my favorite moments of his performance. Is seeing these two versions of Moon Knight screaming was so hilarious, and then the hippo saying hi so casually is just, oh my god, it was so funny. And I was like, what is going on here? So so we end the episode there. I'm surprised we haven't gotten yet the post credit scene, which is weird. Like I
I feel like for the TV shows, they've only been doing that for either the last episode or the like
oh,
last couple episodes, like for WandaVision.
yeah, did Loki? Yeah, like Loki
I don't
did
think
it.
Loki. I think the post credits for Loki was the season 2 announcement.
Hmm.
It wasn't an actual scene.
Yeah. Well, remember episode
Oh, and
4.
Hawkeye didn't have one.
No, no, no. They didn't. They didn't have post credits
Oh
in
no, the
that.
post credits was the musical number.
Oh yeah, but that was the series finale. I mean that. I mean, I don't know. Um, the Loki one, it did have a post credit scene. It was for episode 5. In episode 4, we have a post credit scene, and that introduced us the three Lokis. Or
Right,
no,
right.
yeah, that was the post credit scene. And WandaVision had a couple of post credit scenes. Um, or well, one that was like in episode 8, where or 7, I
Yeah,
guess,
right before or like
finale.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's where like Monica gets
Hmm.
captured by this fake
By
version of
Ralph. Yeah.
by Ralph Warner. Weird name. Anyway, so I'm kind of curious if we're gonna get that for next episode. So so that's the episode. Do you have any nitpicks or negatives about this episode? Do you have, Will? I think
We already went over
the
my
layout.
biggest one. Yeah.
Yeah, the layout one. Okay, so I guess my biggest complaint is I really want them to do a trippy, just not sticking with the storyline plot. I know I'm going a little far for this, but I just feel like just doing a straightforward, like Amit versus Moon Knight storyline just feels so generic and superhero
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think Marvel's gonna break that.
That tradition. Yeah. Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree. It would be more interesting for them to not do that.
Yeah. I really want them to do something that's just not like very action, or because I don't want another action series finale like One Division or like like a very like speak.
Hawkeye.
I actually like Hawkeye's finale. It was fun. It was a very festival kind of episode. Um, um, I don't know. Like I, I think I hope maybe we do something that's like a twist that we're not expecting. I
Mm-hmm.
I, I was because I thought last episode I thought Leia could have been the villain for this series. Like she was helping the villain this whole time, which
Okay.
it didn't happen. I because this episode when I thought, oh, okay, because her personality, like her attitude, changed right away when Steven is in control of the body, and she started to act very friendly. But then it's just because she likes Steven. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, um, but yeah, so I mentioned my theory. I thought maybe if they're going to copy the comics of Moon Knight, like the recent comic book runs, there's a issue where we have the mental hospital already, and we're probably going to stick with that until like half point of episode 5. And if we're going to go like 100, like a 180 degree from the series, like maybe they're going to do the TV like reality, like centric episode of Moon Knight if they're not going to follow up the storyline. But I don't know if they're going to do that. So that's my only theory about that. So, any more nitpicks, um, for this episode?
None that I can think of.
Yeah, this was a overall great episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was really fun. It jam packed everything, which is kind of cool. Uh, I guess I want to mention. I mentioned the other theory I have was the Avatar that I think Steven or Mark survived by another god, which I mentioned before. That could happen next episode, but we'll see. So, you have any theories, Will, or plot points that you think could happen in episode 5 and overall the series?
Just the ones that I laid out. Like I really don't think. Well, I think we're gonna get a reveal about the third personality. But other than that, like I think it's
Yeah,
gonna be pretty straightforward.
straightforward action.
Yeah, superhero thing.
Hmm. Yeah, that'll be. I'll be very disappointed if they do that. I just, I
Yeah,
just.
yeah.
I mean, I
I,
was.
I'm getting getting tired of the Marvel formula.
Yeah, I wish. I mean, like WandaVision was fine. I didn't mind the finale. It
Oh, I
was.
did.
I mean, I don't like it either. But like, I was
Yeah,
like, I mean, it was kind of
uh,
expected.
the the WandaVision one bothers me more, I think, because the rest
mm,
of the show was so great,
yeah, so great.
and then
Yeah,
they ended with the generic thing.
yeah. I
Um,
like Loki's finale. That was
I
good.
loved Loki's finale, yeah, because it
Yeah,
wasn't they weren't like punching each other and shooting laser beams.
yeah,
They were
that's true.
talking. It was way
They were
more
talking.
interesting.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if we're gonna have a conversation, right? Like, are we gonna have a action episode, or
I
like, what do you think? Because that's where I'm like, is this? I mean, we have action, but like, I feel like the show it's very like I shouldn't say trippy. It doesn't feel like Legion. I feel like it's more than that. But I don't know. What do you think?
uh I guess I could see a finale in which it's like Steven and Arthur having a conversation while Khonshu and Amit are like fighting each other. But
Hmm.
if I had to guess, I think it's going to be Moon Knight versus a bunch of those like
Creatures.
jackal people
Oh yeah,
while
that,
Khonshu and Amit are fighting.
that's true. That's true. Um, I mean, I here's a big swing. I will say, maybe Steven will get the Amit as a like he will become Amit's a new avatar, right?
I
That
don't
could
think
happen.
he wouldn't want that though, because he doesn't believe with Amit's
Well,
philosophy.
if he doesn't get to Kanchu in the in the next episode. That's what I'm saying. Like, are we gonna rescue Kanchu from his statue? You know.
Hmm.
So I'm like throwing these really out there ideas where we're gonna go because they need to rescue Kanchu to get the new suit, right?
Hmm.
But we'll see. But yeah. Yeah. I'm very curious about next episode. I'm very excited that we're entering tomorrow, Monday. I got 2 more days until we get the new episode. I'm
Yeah,
very
not
excited.
much longer.
Yeah, and 2 more weeks, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
It,
really like a week and a half.
yeah, I know it's crazy. Yeah, yeah. I think this was a good. I like this so far. This series has been consistent, which is good.
Hmm.
So if we get the superhero straightforward thing, I guess I'm kind of happy because at least they're consistent in this series.
Yeah, and Marvel's really good at doing that kind of story. So it'll be
Yeah,
good if they do it. It'll just be
yeah,
familiar
um,
and not like novel.
yeah, yeah. I'm happy that at least this series doesn't have the problem that the 2021 shows had, where we really had like a major mystery or like who was the villain. And so far we know who's the villain of the series. So I'm
Hmm.
kind of happy we're not having that. We know the villain wants to get this destructed villain that we've been talking about this whole series to be awakened. And that's it. And that's good.
Hmm.
There's no like who is the main bad guy? Like in WandaVision, it was so much of like the Mephisto theories that was going
Hmm.
on, and then we had the Harkness thing, which was so obvious, it was like
Hmm.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Um, like the only one that became true and that was so satisfying was the Kane Conqueror thing in Loki.
yeah, and
Um,
Kingpin.
oh
That
yeah,
reveal was good. The
yeah,
follow up,
the follow
not so
was
much, but
yeah
the
exactly.
reveal is good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the yeah, I totally forgot about Kingpin. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was good too. They did lead up to that really well. Yeah, they didn't do like thank goodness they didn't tee us like it was a different character we were not expecting,
Hmm.
which was good because that can lead to more disappointment for
Hmm.
Hawkeye. So yeah, and then Falcon the Winter Soldier just botched the whole
Power Broker.
yeah, power broker reveal. I was like, okay. So I'm very happy this series has done its own thing, which is good. And you mentioned formula. At least they're doing the good formula and not the really
Yeah.
typical formula because
Hmm.
like if they did the typical formula mixed with the Marvel formula, then it could have been a lot worse. I feel like towards this next 2 episodes. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So thank you, Will, for joining me today for this podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, this one was a very strong one. We
Hmm.
have our nitpicks as you mentioned, Will, about the drama. But it was an overall strong episode. I really enjoyed this episode. It was one of my
Yeah,
favorites,
me
and
too. Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's great that the show was consistent. I hope we will end high for this series for me, and hope we get more for Moon Knight in the future. So
Mm.
yeah, so cross our fingers, which hopefully that can work. And but I want to also thank everyone for listening to this podcast. Me and Will, of course, will be back for another discussion on Moon Knight episode 5. So you know, watch out for the next podcast for next week, folks, and have a good weekend. Bye bye.